What's up, guys? Welcome back, man. This week we are writing full body workouts. If you have not watched my last video, the last video we tackled how you can build muscle and get stronger on a limited schedule. How do we do that? Full body workouts, man. But there is a method to the madness, and this week we're going to cover how you can write full body workouts to accomplish just that. So when we're writing a full body workout that has the goal of building muscle and building strength, we have to focus on big multi-joint compound movements, man. When we can only get into the gym 2 to 3 days per week, we have to make sure that we are working our muscles as often as we possibly can, man. And that means using big movements that work multiple muscle groups in one exercise, right? So that means that we're choosing a squat variation over a leg extension, right? A squat not only works the quadriceps, but it also works the hamstrings, the glutes, our entire back, our core, whereas a leg extension just works the quads, right? So technically, yeah, you could still write a full body workout and a leg extension is part of the lower body, but we have to use the right exercises that are going to check more boxes, man, because when we can only get in the gym a couple days a week, we need to check as many boxes as we possibly can every time we set foot in the gym. So an easy way to start to tackle this and to start to think about this is we have to look at our fundamental movement patterns, man. And these are going to supply us with the template to start to organize writing these workouts up, man. So our fundamental movement patterns consist of these guys right here. The squat, which is going to be more of our quad dominant lower body exercises, right? More that anterior side. We have the hinge, which is going to be primarily more the posterior side, right? The glutes and the hamstrings. We have our press, right? Now the press can be broken up into two different types of press. We can do a horizontal press and we can do a vertical press, right? So we can press horizontally in front of us, which is more of like our bench press variations, but then we can also press vertically overhead, which is going to be more of our overhead and shoulder variations. Same thing with the pull. The pull can be broken into horizontal rowing motions, which is going to be, or pulling motions, which is more of our rows. And then our vertical pulling motions, which is pulling from an overhead position, which is more of our pull-ups, lat pull-downs, things like that. Our unilateral, or basically one leg at a time, right? We're looking at the lower body, one leg at a time. This can be broken up into two portions as well, where we look at unilateral, more quad dominant exercises, and unilateral, more posterior chain dominant exercises. So like a quad dominant would be more of like a lunge, a split squat, a step up, whereas posterior chain is more of like a single leg RDL, single leg back extension, things like that. And then lastly, our core. This can be broken down into its primary functions as well, right? Carry variation, plank variations, where we're doing mostly holds, isometrics, standard planks, front planks, stability ball planks. And then lastly, we can look at more of our muscle focused core work, where we are breaking down the core by individual muscles, right? If we want to do some direct ab work, or if we want to do some more direct oblique work and some QL extensions, lower back work, we want to start to break it down into its parts and maybe focus on specific parts of the core, whether, you have more aesthetic goals and you're trying to carve out that six pack, or if it's more performance goals, you want to do more rotational work for your golf swing, whatever that might be. These are the fundamental movement patterns, right, that are going to help us build out our full body workouts, right? So when we look at all of this, all of these variations are what we have to plug in to our workouts. If we're only getting into the gym 2 to 3 days a week, we have to try to cover as many of these bases as possible in those 2 to 3 workouts, right? And I'm going to show you how you can cover a vast majority of these exercises to get the full body and everything that we need in 2 main sessions. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so we have all of our variations over here, right? And now we have our 2 main workouts, workout A, workout B. Now, in order to cover all of these variations, right, in only 2 sessions, it is crucial that you superset, right? we have to work in superset fashion and even circuit fashion at times. Essentially, that means that we are not just doing one exercise at a time. We have to do our exercises in pairs or even sometimes threes, right? Depending on the exercises. So that is why in these workouts you see A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, 2, and 3. These are the groupings that we're going to pair these exercises with. Here we go. Our goal is to build muscle, to get stronger. Now, there are many ways that you can skin the cat, and there's many different ways that you can plug these things in. But I'm going to give you just a couple here with the primary goal of building muscle and getting stronger. One of my go-to tips, if your goal is to build muscle, is to superset opposing muscle actions, right? So that means if I am doing a horizontal press, I want to superset that with a horizontal pull, right? So we are going to start to plug these things in. So let's say workout A, our first workout of the week, right? We are going to start with the upper body, and we're going to plug in our horizontal press, and we're going to superset that with our horizontal pull. Right off the bat, we've got two of our variations taken care of. We're hitting that for 3 to 4 sets, right? Those two exercises paired back to back. We hit one, we hit the other, we rest for 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and then we're hitting that for 3 to 4 total rounds. After that, we move on to circuit B or superset B. Now we have to get into some lower body work here. So here we can work. Let's say we hit our hinge pattern, right? And we are going to superset this hinge with our unilateral quadricep variation. So now we're hitting the posterior chain and we're supersetting it with the anterior, the quad, the front portion of the lower body. But we're also going from a bilateral hinge pattern to a unilateral single leg quad dominant pattern. And that gives us 2 checked off there. Now here we have C1, C2, and C3. This is where we're going to incorporate some core work. This is where we also have a little bit of freedom where we can kind of do a little less taxing exercises, right? These are all big movements here. So by the time we get to circuit C, we're going to be pretty fatigued, right? We don't want to throw in a max effort deadlift or a big squat in this last portion of the workout, right? So we have to make sure that we're picking exercises that have a little bit more safety built into them, right? So we haven't hit a squat yet. So this is not where I'm going to program a heavy front squat, but it is where I could program something like a goblet squat, right? A little bit safer load, a little bit safer way to get the squat pattern trained for this week. So let's plug in a goblet squat here. And then we're also going to pair that with, we could do some of our core variations here. So we'll hit this with a farmer's carry, and then we'll finish that with a side plank. So now this last circuit here, we're getting anterior core work with the goblet squat, but we're also working the squat pattern. We're hitting a carry, a loaded carry variation, and then we're also getting some lateral core stabilization in the form of our plank. So you can see right there in one workout only. And this workout, you're hitting all of these circuits for 3 rounds. You can already see how many boxes we have checked in just one workout, right? We still have an entire other workout at our disposal, right? And now when we move to workout B that we're going to hit later in the week, we can start to look at these things and start to check off the boxes that we didn't get in that first workout, right? So if we look here, we can even double up now, right? So we kind of gave the squat a little bit of like a back seat on that first workout by putting it in the third superset, right, in circuit C. But let's give it up front and center, our main focus of workout B, right? So now this is where we're going to plug in our main squat, right? Let's do a heavier front squat or a heavier back squat, whatever that might be, right? So now we've hit this squat twice, right? And we could superset this one now with a unilateral posterior chain, or we could even do another core exercise. We could superset this with an upper body exercise to get a little bit of a conditioning effect here. And that's what actually I'm going to do. One of my favorite sneaky muscle building pairings is supersetting squats, a nice heavy squat variation with a pull-up, right? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to hit our squat, and then we're also going to hit our vertical pull. Squats and pull-ups are a phenomenal, underrated superset. So boom, right there, we got our squat, we got our vertical pull in. Now for circuit B, let's move on. We haven't hit our vertical press yet. So let's throw in our vertical press, which is stemming right off of that vertical pull. So we're still hitting opposing muscle actions in the same workout. And we'll superset this vertical press with our unilateral posterior chain variation. Now with those two right there, we've almost completely hit absolutely everything in our fundamental movement pattern base, and we still have 3 exercises to play with and plug in here. So now we really have a lot of freedom here. Now we need a muscle focus, right, for our core work. So let's pick something on our core that maybe is a little underdeveloped, or maybe something that we just want to focus on, right? So maybe I really want to get my abs popping. So maybe we'll start this circuit here with some toes to bar, which is a phenomenal exercise for just building the depth and the shape of your abs, as long as you're lean enough to see them. But also, I love hanging from that bar and getting that decompression effect after having a heavy barbell on your back, or just loaded in some way, shape, or form like that, like you would be on a squat, right? So now with that, we have crossed everything off, right? We've hit everything. We've hit the squat twice, but everything else has gotten hit in at least once. So now we can really focus and we can plug in. Maybe I want a little bit more delt, right? Or bigger arms. So now I can plug in. Maybe we'll do some toes to bar. Maybe we'll hit some dips, right? Which would kind of fall under the horizontal press category, right? And maybe if I'm doing a horizontal press, maybe I want to double up and get that upper body a little thicker. So maybe I'll double up on the horizontal pull, and we'll finish this off with maybe some sort of band pull apart or just dumbbell row variation. You could run these 2 workouts for a month, right? If you can only get in the gym 2 to 3 days per week, you hit workout A, workout B, workout A, workout B, workout A, workout B. You just alternate the 2 of them every single time you go into the gym. These 2 workouts for a month straight, I guarantee you are going to start to see some gains, man. As long as your loading parameters are correct, right? These first circuit, your A circuit, that is your strength circuit, right? That is where we are working in the 4 to 6 rep range, right? 3 to 4 sets, 4 to 6 reps, a little bit heavier weight, right? We're working in that, 75 to 85% of our 1 rep max, resting 2 minutes in between sets. That is where you're going to build your strength, and that's where you need to really focus a little bit heavier loads. Circuit B, this is more of our functional hypertrophy, right? So now we're getting into the 6 to 15 rep range, right? We can work still moderate loads to a little bit lighter loads, just depending on the exercise that you're using and that you're working. But this is your 3 sets of 6 to 15 reps, right? And then circuit C, we should be pretty fatigued by the time we get there. That is your lighter weight, a little bit more pump work, right? That's 10 to 20 reps, whatever we're working in that circuit C. Or obviously a side plank, something you're doing for time. You're looking at 30 to 60 seconds of work in those timed sets. Give that a shot, guys. I'm telling you right now, you follow this template, you will see gains. I guarantee it, man. This is a programming masterclass. All you need to know to be strong, to be fit, to build muscle, and to get everything you need to get if you can only get into the gym 2 to 3 days per week, man. Give that a shot. If you found this video helpful, man, like it, share it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.